Welcome back, Wolfpack. Rolls here, and this is how to use Sawsbuck. So, Sawsbuck stats. Man, it doesn't even get any more generic than the stats on Sawsbuck when we break it down. That it's so simple that we have 95, so anywhere between 85 and 95 on the speed. We have around 100 on our main offense, but then our non-main offense is going to be pretty low, so 60 in special attack in this case, and then 70s in defenses. Around 70 or 80 on hit points, and this is going to be just your generic stat spread that, okay, this Pokemon might try to find something to do, but it's not going to excel anywhere. It doesn't have a hard-hitting attack, it doesn't have a crazy amount of surprising bulk, or it doesn't have a ridiculous amount of sweeping speed. However, Sawsbuck will find a surprising amount of usage when we go and look at its typing, normal grass type. So unfortunately, grass, also a bit of a curse to whatever it's gifted to, that we have a weakness to flying, poison, bug, fire, and ice. And that's all from the grass. And then we get our one fighting weakness from normal, immunity to ghost because of that, and then a good amount of resistances because of the grass. So overall, the typing, the stats, it doesn't look that great for Sawsbuck, and even when we go and hop into Pokemon Showdown, it looks really standard, that for most sets, you're just going to see something like Swords Dance, your stab moves, and then a coverage move with a life orb, and then you max out the speed on like a Jolly nature, and then you hope for the best. So you go Jolly, you outspeed anything less than 95 base speed, you hope that your 100 attack with life orb and maybe a very powerful double edge or a super effective horn leech or jump kick is going to make the difference, and that's really all that you would think about with Sawsbuck. Now, whenever I put OP on a strategy, doesn't necessarily mean that the Pokemon's stronger than a Mega Kangaskhan, or it's just going to bust out and win every battle. No, the OP is kind of like to trigger something in your mind to think, wow, this Pokemon's potential has yet to be tapped, or this Pokemon has a lot of potential, and if you really make that Pokemon work, it's going to be very OP, or surprisingly much more powerful than people give it credit for. It's overpowered compared to the perception of this Pokemon. That's what I mean every time I put OP in a video, and Sawsbuck is no different. I feel that the problem here is that people just overlook it. They see generic, they just skip over it, but no. When you actually need to break down Sawsbuck, there's a lot of really different things you can do with the stats and how you're going to run Sawsbuck that actually makes it really powerful. So first off, this is going to be a set where you play off the Sap Sipper. So it does have the Sap Sipper ability. Not a lot of Pokemon get this, and it's a very powerful ability. Pokemon's attack is raised one stage if hit by a grass move, also gives a grass immunity. That doesn't really matter too much. What we're looking for is that +1 attack. So if you're confident, if you build a team around this specific Sawsbuck to where you have some water Pokemon, you might fish out some grass weakness, you just bring in Sawsbuck, you go for that +1 on the attack, and then you're ready to just go to work. And that's why I like agility. That if we run the agility instead of Swords Dance, well, Swords Dance doesn't matter in a lot of cases. Life Orb +1 on a super effective Horn Leech, a super effective Jump Kick, or even just a neutral stab double edge, that's going to be enough damage to knock out a lot of Pokemon. This set right here, if you take in that one Sap Sipper boost, you're able to one-shot Garchomp, you're able to one-shot Mega Kangaskhan. That just shows the bulk that you can tear down, or you can also sustain incredible amounts of hit points off with that Horn Leech, and then like the stats are how you want to play it. Now with this, I just like these mixed defenses. It gives you a lot of really good physically defensive bulk, while also playing around into your special defense just a little. Now all of your weaknesses from the grass type is going to be your main problem here. That's the idea of using Sap Sipper. When you switch in, you're either forcing a switch because they don't have much more coverage against you, or they're not going to be a typing that will carry that super effective hit on top of that, unless it's poison. Poison is something you have to be worried about just a bit. But overall, you want to come in and you want to use that, and then it doesn't matter. So now you can just absorb physical hits pretty well, or you can just kind of standard it up, go max hit point investment, max attack. It depends on the specific matchups that you're looking for. I ran a lot of damage calculations, and just against the metagame, having something around this, it gives you that defensive bulk to where you survive those stronger physical hits that you're more likely to see, while just kind of giving up if you're seeing a super effective special attack. Now if we break down the agility again, 226, well, we're doubling that speed, so it really doesn't matter, and now we don't have to worry, we don't have to be focused on outspeeding what we need to. And that's the key to Sawsbuck, that if you run bulk, well, it buys you an extra turn. That investing into those hit points, investing into those defenses, it means now you're a 3-2 hit KO Pokemon instead of a 1-2 hit KO Pokemon, so you're getting that extra turn of setting up. Come in on the Sap Sipper and half of your job is already done. I feel that is where Sawsbuck is entirely unlocked. Now we can also take it to the next level and just go pure hit points, pure defense, actually be a physical defensive wall, and just come in onto those physical attackers without super effective hits and set up in their face. So with this, you can run the Sap Sipper if you want to, or Chlorophyll. If you have a Sunny Day team or any kind of Sunny Day synergy, Sawsbuck can make a lot of work for that and then skip out a couple of turns, so it doesn't have to worry as much. Now, if you're running a guaranteed Chlorophyll setup, you might not need agility, and then that gives you the coverage on jump kick, or you just hold on to the agility because why not? Sun runs out, well, you still have the agility as backup. The idea behind this is that, you take a hit, you agility, now you're outspeeding, now you're looking for those KOs. This one though, bit more setup, bit riskier. However, it's just as powerful that we get more tankiness. So we get to max out the hit points, we get to max out the defenses. We become a 3-hit KO Pokemon really reliably, and that's going to work into our favor. After our Swords Dance boosting, well, that's going to put us over 500 attack, and then anything like a Double Edge is going to still have those KOs on the Garchomp. So it's going to be just a little more damage than coming in on the +1 with the full attack investment. So we're going for that Swords Dance, and then we buy that turn for agility, and by then we might need to Horn Leech. But Horn Leeching, we're going, as long as it's a neutral hit, even a super effective hit, that'd be like the ideal scenario. Go back up to a very high amount of hit points, and even with the Life Orb and Double Edge recoil, we have that out. And even then, Double Edge just does 33% recoil. With our full hit point investment and the Life Orb, we can get 2 KOs off the Double Edge, maybe even 3 before having to worry about it. So as long as we're knocking out the opponent before they attack us, we're going to be good to go. As you can see here with that Double Edge, it's more damage, so we're still going to be able to take out the Garchomp before they have a chance to touch us. As long as it isn't a purely defensive Pokemon, we're going to do pretty well with it. And as long as they don't resist the Horn Leech, we're just going to do more damage than them. That the defensive Pokemon isn't going to be able to hit us as hard as the Horn Leech will hit them, and we're gaining the health back that they're dealing. So if they're really trying to stall us out, we use Swords Dance again. We use Swords Dance again. Now we're going for that heavy sweep, and here's where Sawsbuck's potential is unlocked. Now it's not really, when you look at these stats, you think, it's just going to be some kind of generic attacker. But no, you play to that bulk, you buy that extra turn, you turn that into setup, and then Sawsbuck becomes very rewarding. Now also you can split these defenses naturally, maybe you do want to survive some neutral special attacks. Maybe you do want to balance it out a bit more. This is still going to be tanky, gives you a couple more specific setup scenarios, but it trades out some other ones. So really it's going to take that extra bit of time to build your team into it. If you find those weaknesses where you go, wow, I find these opportunities where I can switch in with that Sap Sipper. I can make it to where I buy myself a turn for the agility. I can get that Swords Dance set up. And then Sawsbuck just becomes a menace, and that's why this Pokemon can be so strong. Also, when we look at it in double battles, we can pretty much run the same thing, except I was thinking Citrus Berry. So we max out hit points, max out the attack, then we just go for the Chlorophyll Swords Dance. First turn, we use Swords Dance, and then we have a Pokemon setting up Sunny Day. So bring in the Ninetales, Mega Charizard Y, or just anything that can bring a reliable Sunny Day, and then we're good to go. So now we're doubling our speed, which is kind of the point to all this. We're getting the Swords Dance boosting us to absurd amounts of attack, and now we just go for the win. I like the idea behind Citrus Berry because the reason why I don't have Focus Sash is because it doesn't make a lot of sense. That since we're going to be using the Chlorophyll, we don't need speed investment, or else that's just overkill at that point. And if we're going to invest in the hit points, then we don't want to get one shot. So the Citrus Berry means that we might actually survive those 2 hits. Even if we get the double focus down on us, take that hit, go into the yellowish range, then Citrus Berry pulls us back up. We survive that other hit. That means our other Pokemon was untouched or took split damage from a double hitting move. And then we just kind of do whatever. Now we get the outspeed. We KO on that Horn Leech. KO on the Double Edge. I like the Protect. You can run Jump Kick, but Protect makes so many outplay potentials in doubles. Pretty necessary, so you can protect that priority move, have the other Pokemon beat up on that priority Pokemon, and then you're going to be good to go from there. So that's kind of what I was seeing with Sawsbuck. Other than that, it does have a couple of other interesting things that it can do. It has Baton Pass, so you can keep it in a Baton Pass chain, or you can have it start its own. Agility Baton Pass. You run it bulk, hit point defensive investment, and then you can set it up like that. Even the Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave, Swords Dance into Baton Pass. That means a Pokemon coming in is going to have the speed priority over it. Also going to have that damage, even agility. Depending on how many turns you get, you're going to be able to make it really work. So you use Thunder Wave, they trade you a they trade setup. Stealth Rocks, they go for Calm Mind. They do some kind of status. Then you just read it from there. If the opponent has a lot of sweepers on the team, go for agility. If they're not doing enough damage to you, then you go for the Swords Dance in the Baton Pass, and maybe you'll get lucky on that 25% chance. The turn you pass in is the turn they get paralyzed, and now you're just gifting that to the opponent. Now you also don't even have to do Thunder Wave, just agility Baton Pass, Swords Dance Baton Pass. That on its own works really nice. Thunder Wave, just those extra utility options that you might find. Also Aromatherapy. You can kind of be in the mid game, okay, some of my Pokemon are statused, I'm going to use Aromatherapy, go into agility Baton Pass. Now I've got some super duper sweep going on for me. The main problem I have with Sawsbuck is going to be off of that Serene Grace ability, because that's nothing that really works with it too well. Then when you think Serene Grace, you think Mega Hacks. Does it get Headbutt? No, it doesn't. What about Zen Headbutt? It doesn't get Zen Headbutt either. There's really nothing that makes use of it. Also, when we look at the main offensive moves, okay, so we're going to be using Horn Leech. Well, that doesn't have anything that's boosted by Serene Grace. Same with Jump Kick, same with any of these moves, even if we choose to use Mega Horn. You can also run Mega Horn, high base power, medium accuracy, no additional effect. So a lot of the things that Sawsbuck uses are going to be no additional effect. It doesn't even get Rock Slide. There's no way you can like super hacks out with it, so the Serene Grace unfortunately kind of wasted potential. And also with Sawsbuck, I didn't figure out how to work this into the set, but if you make a tankier Sawsbuck, you do get access to the Leech Seed, and you also have access to the Synthesis. Now you can heal. Now actually Synthesis could be something to work in with the Chlorophyll set, that you will have to make sure that you have the Sun on, but then you get access to the super duper healing on the Synthesis, or same, you can take off the Protect, and then you can Synthesis, heal up before your opponent attacks you, and unless you're dealing with priority, it's going to be pretty solid, because you're just absorbing hits anyways, and if they ignore you, well now you just gained a ton of your health back, and you're ready to sweep on those following turns. Problem is, this is like 4 move slot syndrome, because you have your status, or you have your setup move. Now, to a degree, it's 4 move slot syndrome that, you know, if we're looking at like this, if we're going for the agility set in this situation, as long as we come in on that Sap Sipper, yeah, maybe we could take out Jump Kick and then put in the Leech Seed. If we have the Leech Seed Horn Leech, that's going to be a lot of healing, or we could take out Horn Leech, go for the direct Synthesis, make sure we're getting the heal off of that, and then maybe put in the Jump Kick here. That will give us that nice synergy between normal attacks and fighting attacks, but we will get walled out by Ghost-type Pokemon, so it is a bit more of a risk, but it's a lot of really good potential here. That if they're not doing 2-hit KOs onto you, then you're going to leech back a little bit of health. Going to be gaining on them with that Synthesis or the Leech Seed, and that could be pretty nice. Now, Leech Seed into the Jump Kick and whatnot. There's a lot of options here, but again, 4 move slot syndrome. I think you might be good keeping that raw power. However, if you get into a tankier team and you get into that stall situation, this Sawsbuck might be able to gain over the opponent, really become a frustration, and then kind of make it work. So that's Sawsbuck. More powerful than you might think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.